everyone, imagine for a second your smartwatch. You know the one you probably use to track your steps and maybe check the weather with? Well, imagine it could tell you are coming down with something before you even felt that first sniffle.
It's incredible, isn't it? The kind of future we're stepping into, where all this AI and wearable health tech could really become like, I don't know, your own personal health ally.
It really is something else, and it's moving so fast. We've gone from simple fitness trackers to, well, you've given us some really interesting research to look at today, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really changing fast.
Like Ogneto, for example, they're saying that in the future, AI will be able to analyze like the tiniest changes in your voice to spot early signs of, well, conditions like Parkinson's even.
Yeah, it's amazing what they can do with voice analysis these days.
And it's not just that. There's that research we saw using wearable data to pick up on signs of depression, and not just, with a hunch, but with something like an 80% accuracy rate.
It's really remarkable, isn't it?
Mm.
When you think about the sheer volume of data these wearables are gathering in, the thing is, AI can actually make sense of it all. It's uncovering patterns and connections that we as humans, well, we might miss.
It's like having an extra set of eyes constantly looking for clues.
Yeah.
So we keep hearing about this personalized health monitoring everyone's talking about. It's almost like every smartwatch out there wants to be our new doctor, right?
Well, I mean, in a way. But yeah, it's definitely gone way beyond just counting your steps. We're talking about smartwatches and even smart rings that are becoming really powerful health monitoring tools.
It's incredible, really.
Think about it. Your Apple Watch, right there on your wrist, could flag a heart rhythm problem just by looking at your heart rate data. Or maybe gives you a nudge, says, hey, you might want to get that sleep apnea checked out. It's like having a mini health checkup whenever you want.
That's a complete game changer when it comes to how we think about healthcare. Instead of reacting when something goes wrong, we're talking about getting ahead of it. Catching these things early could make all the difference.
Exactly. And that's what everyone's starting to realize. I mean, early intervention is key. And with the wearable AI market predicted to hit, get this, like $180 billion by 2025. I think it's safe to say this is more than just a fad.
Those are some serious numbers. It really shows you how big this whole thing is becoming. But let's be honest, not everyone's a tech genius. I mean, I do okay, but I always wonder, how is AI making these devices, actually user-friendly for everyone? My grandmother could never figure out how to use those fitness trackers.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a really important point. But that's where, voice AI is kind of changing the game. Think about it. You could talk to your device, get feedback in real time, even set medication reminders, all without having to fiddle with tiny buttons.
So it's like having, what, a personal health assistant right there on your wrist.
Exactly. Hands-free, easy to use, and personalized.
I even read somewhere that AI can now analyze our voices to detect potential health issues. I mean, that just seems wild to me.
It sounds crazy, but it's true. AI can pick up on these tiny changes in your voice, stuff you wouldn't even notice. That could be early signs of stress or even, some neurological conditions.
That is really something. Okay, so we've talked about proactive healthcare, but let's dive into how this technology is shaking things up for people managing chronic conditions, especially things like diabetes, right?
Right, and one of the biggest breakthroughs there is the whole continuous monitoring aspect. Imagine you're wearing a device that not only keeps tabs on your glucose levels, but also uses AI to predict, potential hyperglycemic events even before they hit.
So it's not just reacting to your current state, it's actually looking ahead by analyzing your activity levels, maybe what you're eating, even how well you're sleeping, essentially painting a complete picture of your health.
Exactly. It's like having a 247 health detective on the case. And having this nonstop stream of data, it's what allows for earlier intervention, better management, and ultimately better outcomes for patients. Plus, let's be real, it has the potential to significantly cut down on healthcare costs in the long run.
That's what I call a win-win. But it's not all about everyday health, is it? This tech is popping up in hospitals and clinics too, right?
Absolutely, and it's really revolutionizing things there as well. The combination of AI, wearables, and augmented reality in particular is super exciting.
Okay, now we're talking sci-fi. Tell me more.
Okay, picture this. A surgeon in the operating room wearing AR glasses, and right there in their field of vision, they're seeing the patient's vital signs, heart rate, oxygen levels, all of it overlaid in real time. It's incredible.
Talk about a whole new level of precision. It's like something out of Star Trek.
Totally. And it's not just for surgery either. Think about remote consultations, where doctors could use this tech to examine patients from anywhere in the world. Or how it could transform medical training. The possibilities are endless.
It's like we're on the verge of science fiction becoming our new reality.
It really does feel that way. And the thing is, we're going way beyond those usual smartwatches and rings now.
Mm.
There's this whole world opening up. Things like, smart textiles and,
Wait, hold on. Smart textiles. Okay, you're gonna have to explain that one. That sounds like something straight out of a movie.
all right, so get ready for this.
Ah.
Imagine your clothes, but they're embedded with these AI-powered biosensors, right?
Yeah.
They can track everything, your heart rate, your breathing, even your muscle activity, all woven right into the fabric you're wearing.
So instead of strapping on a separate device, it's just part of what you're already wearing.
Exactly. Seamless integration. The future of wearable tech.
Yeah.
Right there in your wardrobe.
That is wild. So what's next? Flying cars.
Well, maybe not flying cars just yet, but it does get even more mind-blowing. We're on the edge of implantable AI devices actually becoming a reality. Think about smart contact lenses that can monitor things like your glucose levels constantly, or neural implants that could completely change how we approach neurological disorders.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting at the same time, isn't it? All this
Sure.
potential, but we're stepping into uncharted territory in a lot of ways.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's exciting, for sure, but it's complex, too. There are definitely challenges to consider alongside all this amazing potential, and that's something we need to talk about.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? All this incredible potential, but we're talking about our health data here. It's one thing to track steps, but this is, well, it's everything, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a huge responsibility, and it's something that, we can't ignore. As these devices become more and more integrated into our lives, data privacy has to be a top priority. We're talking about safeguarding incredibly sensitive information.
No doubt about it. So how do we even begin to tackle that? What needs to happen to make sure this data is protected?
Well, for starters, we need those really strong security measures in place
Yeah.
right from the get-go. I'm talking about things like, rock-solid encryption for all that data, both when it's stored and when it's being transmitted. And then there's authentication, making sure only the right people can access those devices.
Makes sense. We lock our phones, we have passwords for everything else. It's only natural that this data gets the same treatment, maybe even more so.
Absolutely. And then to top it off, regular audits are crucial, just to make sure everything's running as securely as it should be. It's like a security checkup for the whole system.
It's reassuring to know that those safeguards are in place. And it's interesting, from what I've read, AI can actually play a role in enhancing data security itself, right?
Exactly. It's like having AI as your, well, like a digital bodyguard for all that health data. AI could be trained to constantly be on the lookout for any sign of suspicious activity, anything out of the ordinary, and it can react in real time to shut down potential threats.
It's like having an extra layer of protection, constantly scanning for problems.
Precisely. It's about being proactive, staying one step ahead of any potential issues.
Okay, so we've talked about keeping this data safe, but there's another layer to all of this, isn't there? Even if the data is secure, how do we ensure it's being used responsibly? How do ethical considerations factor into all of this?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something we have to get right. I'd say one of the biggest concerns with using AI in healthcare, in any field really, is the potential for algorithmic bias.
It's something we've seen pop up in other areas, haven't we? Facial recognition technology, for example, and it's a big problem. So how do we make sure those same biases don't creep into healthcare?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Because if the data used to train these algorithms, if it's not diverse enough, if it doesn't truly represent everyone, well, you can end up with results that are inaccurate at best and discriminatory at worst.
And that could actually worsen existing health disparities.
Exactly. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we design it, how we implement it, and how we regulate it. It's a shared responsibility.
So it sounds like collaboration is key here, right? To get this right, it's going to take more than just tech developers.
Absolutely. We need everyone at the table.
Uh,
The people creating this technology, healthcare providers, policymakers, ethicists. It's about having those open conversations, considering all the angles, and working together to ensure these advancements truly benefit everyone.
So much to consider. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the potential of AI-powered wearables to, well, the importance of data security, ethical use. It's a lot. As we kind of, try to navigate this ever-changing landscape, what stands out to you as the most important thing to remember? What should we be focusing on?
I think the biggest takeaway is that this technology, it's not static. What we're talking about today, it's incredible, groundbreaking stuff. But in a year, 2 years, 5 years, this might all seem, well, normal, outdated even. The pace of advancement is just mind-boggling.
It really makes you wonder what's next, doesn't it? I can't help but let my imagination run wild with those sci-fi scenarios we talked about earlier.
It's easy to get caught up in it all, isn't it? Implantable AI that can predict diseases years before any symptoms even appear, clothing that can actually regulate your body temperature and deliver personalized medication.
Mm.
I mean, some of this might sound totally far-fetched right now, but when you look at how fast this field is moving, well, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility, is it?
It's exciting for sure, but yeah, you're right. There's a lot to think about. It feels like we're standing on the edge of a whole new era for healthcare, and it's, well, a little bit unknown, isn't it?
I think it's that sense of the unknown that makes this whole area so fascinating, to be honest.
Okay.
It's not just about, having cool gadgets and futuristic tech. It's about, well, what does it all mean? What kind of future are we building here?
That's a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the wow factor, but we can't lose sight of the bigger picture. It's not just about what this technology can do, but how we use it, why we use it, and are we using it ethically? Are we making sure it's accessible to everyone, not just a select few?
Exactly. We can't just throw technology at a problem and expect it to magically fix everything. It takes careful consideration, collaboration, a real understanding of the potential benefits and risks.
It's a shared responsibility then, wouldn't you say? It's not just on the shoulders of the people developing this technology.
Absolutely not. It's on all of us. The researchers, the developers, the policymakers, the healthcare providers, even the everyday users like yourself.
Hmm.
We all have a role to play in shaping this future.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of AI and wearables, what's the one thing you really hope listeners walk away thinking about? What's the key takeaway here?
For me, it's this. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is happening right now. And while the potential is incredible, imagine improving diagnoses, personalizing treatments, even, who knows, maybe extending lifespans.
Yeah.
But we have to proceed carefully. We have to make sure we're developing and using this technology responsibly, ethically, for the benefit of everyone. It's a balancing act, for sure.
It's a future that's being shaped right now, and we're all part of that conversation. So thanks so much for, well, for breaking all of this down for us today. It's been incredibly insightful.
It's been my pleasure, really. It's such an exciting time to be following all these advancements, and I'm really, I don't know, I'm just eager to see where it all goes from here.
Me too. And to everyone listening, we hope this has, sparked your curiosity, given you some things to think about. If you're as fascinated by this stuff as we are, well, don't stop here. Keep digging, keep learning, keep asking those important questions. And until next time, keep exploring.